discussion and of course social media. But we are not going to just see social media for what it is, but what we are going to do, we're going to take a step further and also imagine what social media could be. So I'll just hand over to Gopal to start with the first thing, and then as we move on into the session, we'll get to know more and we'll get to hear from everybody as well.
So we'll start. I'll start with my name and one word that I associate when I say social media. So what comes to your mind when I say social media and why? So these are the three things that we'll do. I'll say my name, what I associate with social media and why do I associate it with it. And we'll just pass it on to the room. So my name is Gopal. The one word that I associate with social media is brain rot. And that's because of the kind of feed that I have and the kind of content that I consume on social media. And I'll pass it to Vishal.
Okay, so I'll just go for creative because I think it's like a bridge for a lot of creative people to sort of come and share their expression. Yeah, I'll pass on to you.
Yeah, I'm Shavani. When I talk about media, we see a lot of media like Instagram, WhatsApp.
What is the one word that you associate with it? When you think of Instagram and WhatsApp, what one word that comes to your mind?
We can contact with each other like messaging.
Okay,
Right.
When the word social media comes, I will most probably get the word distraction because most of the people get distracted during using social media.
Right.
For information.
Okay. Thanks.
Mansa, and coming to social media, I think we can connect with each other and we can know.
Connection. Okay.
And when it comes to social media, I would say startups and building. So because I am into that, and why? Because I love building things and I love starting making and startup ecosystem.
Right.
So I am into that.
My name is Kandra.
Updating for photos and videos, to creating information, news.
Okay.
Social media for me, it's just a brain refreshing thing
Okay.
and to explore the world.
Explore. Brain refreshing and explore.
Social media is a platform, it is a media platform, like it referring to specific Facebook, Twitter, etc. So one word that I can say that creating content about the interaction.
My name is Anayata, and the word I associate with social media is livelihood because now there is a myriad of industries who are running on social media. So.
Makes sense. Perfect. Thank you so much.
I think it's also a space that provides a lot of people a space where they can be vulnerable, where they can build community.
Right.
But I also feel that it's also an extremely buoyant space because it can turn into from being a vulnerable place to being a violent place at any given point of time. For example, for a lot of trans people, you access a lot of health information there, but, but then again, a lot of doxing and a lot of other things also happen.
Privacy concern.
Yeah. Sorry, what did you say?
Privacy concern.
So I think privacy concern and what might you say?
So I am Sahanupati Krishnan, and the word I associate is escapism. So it's a means social media. Basically, we try to escape from our monotony and everything. So that's
Totally, I think.
So when it comes to social media, it's promoting the products and advertise, entertainment, all those things.
Hi, my name is Bindu. For social media, my word is about creating memories by using camera, Instagram Reels.
My name is Janaki Devi. When it comes to social media, I can say that it is great platform to connect with each other, and that's it.
Okay, connections. Yeah.
My name is Ray. My word is discovery. I've discovered a lot about myself, about the world through it.
My name is Muskan. And I think social media can also be associated with misinformation, hate speech, echo chambers. So a lot of negativity is also there.
Right.
I have 3 words to share about social media: vacuum cleaner, product, and control.
Okay.
So they hoover up our data that provides them huge amount of control, and then they sell us as the products.
Right. Thank you so much for adding. Do you want to pass on the mic to someone else?
मेरा नाम फिलिप कुजूर है, मैं झारखंड से हूँ और सोशल मीडिया बोले तो मैं वो जस्ट इतना यूज किया इसलिए इंफॉर्मेशन लेना और देना, बस इतना ही.
Aminur Rahman.
I think surveillance is the word for me.
My word for social media is something related to educational resources.
So this is exactly what we are here to talk about, that when did social media go from being with others, what it was meant for, to then becoming a platform where a breeding ground for hate speech, breeding ground for surveillance, and it being a sellout, not only selling themselves but us also. So this is exactly what we are here to talk about. But I think while we are being on social media, I feel like we already know what is happening. So let us move our conversation towards a little bit positive, because we have such great minds in this room. We really want to use this space to rethink, reimagine how can we make this a better platform, what it was meant to be, and how it can be built for people and not for profit. So that's the reason why we're here today, and we really want to think together with you. So that's the reason why we're thinking initially of dividing ourselves into 4 groups and thinking about things like transparency, thinking about things like data privacy, data ownership, and so we'll divide ourselves into 4 groups, and Vaishali will take it from here. But yeah, let's together think about, this is an activity space now, so I'll be coming to you and distributing some of the things, and we'll think about how we can think together into reimagination, because we all already know what are the harms. So yeah, over to you.
How about we sort of reimagine what an alternative social media would be? Okay? And that is why all of us are here, to imagine a lot of possibilities, to imagine a lot of good things, and also to make social media our space again. So what we are going to do, like Opal said, we have 4 groups, and we have 4 values, or we have 4 ideas. So one is transparency, then we have data ownership, we have justice, and we have safety. Is where we connect. Basically, the point is, if we want to make, say, social media more transparent, right? So how does this transparency look like in practice? So some of the ideas, the way we can think about this, for example, we have clear explanation for ads, and we have easy visibility into data collection. For example, my data is being collected. हम सबको पता है हमारा data जा रहा है, it's being collected somewhere. But where is it going? Who is taking the control of our data, and what is being done with it? So if we know it, that is like a practice, an idea in practice. So this is how we are going to think about these 4 values. I'll give you a little bit more example. Safety. So when we talk about safety, then again, what could it look like in practice? जैसे कि social media is designed in a way which prioritizes care, consent, and emotional well-being. या फिर safety settings that are easy to find. So a lot of times what happens, when we have to say switch off the AI, data collection, we have to really dig down into the settings. We have to go to privacy center, second step, third step, fourth step, and in this whole process, the mind just get boggled. Okay, where is it? Because all these things is done by design, so that people are not able to access the safety features, in a second. Versus, say, the moment you open your app, you have your reels. So reels are put first, but safety is put second. Right? So this is how we're going to these are some of the ideas that we'll be thinking upon, brainstorming. How can we actually think of some ideas which can put safety first? Okay, data ownership. All of us know data is such a gold mine. Everybody's profiting off data. And but what if we had a shared or collective control over community generated data? What if these big tech companies like Meta, because they are we are paying them. What if we were to get paid? And whosoever is using our data, they pay us some money. Right? That is one alternative model of a social media that could happen. So things like that. And the last one, we have justice. So I just want to ask show of hands, how many times you have raised a report on Instagram or any Meta platforms? Okay, and how many times you have got a solution? And you knew that, okay, 1 person. So it's 5, 1 person in 5. The ratio is really disbalanced. So just talk about this. So if we talk about a just social media space, what happens to our reports? Where does it go? Who responds? What is the time? When can I expect, okay, my issue to be resolved? So this is another example of how justice could look like in practice. So okay, so now that I've sort of laid the groundwork, what we're going to do, we have these 4 stations. So transparency, chalega? Okay, cool. Safety, that group. We can go to the data ownership, right? And then justice. So what we are going to do, we're just going to distribute some sticky notes, papers, pens, and collectively just think about think amongst yourself. What does all these values would look like in practice? You have some examples, but if you were to actually design the new social media. So for example, if you're just like opening Instagram, right? First thing that you want to see, what is that? So transparency आप features में कैसे ला सकते हो? Just think about all these, and if anybody is a techie here, startup, builders of things, please feel free to and create a prototype of how things can change. So yeah, we'll just start distributing.
Of children on social media should be made higher. In fact, the government of Australia has passed a bill of banning social media apps for people under 16. I think I might be here or there on the age aspect, but that has already been practiced. So we discussed, so after we came up with the point, we were discussing the efficacy of it and how social media can hamper brain activity in children or cause mental distress to them. So therefore, number 1 would be stricter age restrictions. Second would be, we were all talking about how somebody is high and mighty on the social media or could troll someone or could bully someone because they know they cannot be found out about. There is a level of anonymity which gives them a certain amount of might. So if, for example, LinkedIn has done this, they have government IDs on LinkedIn and one person can only make one LinkedIn account from that one government ID. So this again increases the entry barrier on social media. Of course, somebody who has bad intentions will find a way of duping someone's ID and going somewhere. But I think from a policy perspective, if we mandate having government IDs for social media users, I think that will be helpful, because then anonymous trolling, bullying, harassment might not, I mean, we hope that it doesn't happen on the scale that it is happening in today's day and age.
You need to trace it, sort of.
We sort of discussed the example of SIM cards. So you buy SIM cards with a government ID. Right. A lot of fraud also happens there also, but the level is much lesser than would be otherwise.
Then again, we spoke about, so for example, YouTube, while it's not a social media networking platform, it is an information gathering platform, and we watch it for entertainment. It has YouTube Kids as a version for it. So if children were to be made part of the social media network, maybe there could be a version of the the platform for kids with parental supervision, so that they can maybe talk to their classmates or cousins or so and so, but the parent has enough information on what's going on. So it's something on those lines. We spoke about mental health assistance being mandated for social media platforms. A button or something which would provide help to someone who's going through a struggle, because social media generates enough chaos in that segment. It's good for them to even try to solve that menace. Lastly, safety only makes sense when somebody knows what the law is and somebody knows how to enforce that law. So cybercrime, cyber safety workshops for the consumer and the law enforcement simultaneously. Because if I am a victim of a cybercrime and I go to the police should also know what to do. And that is, I think, a gap we're facing in the Indian market. So these were some of the points we covered.
Like what we spoke with our friends, automatically we exterminate people in our feeds. If we search about shoes or any Google search, automatically our Instagram gets that all trend. So one thing I would say is like the whole social media, Instagram, Meta, whatever it is silently listening or it is silently capturing our emotions, that thing. And it is when it comes to technical side of aspect, it stores so totally at a place, and based upon that emotions, they will show the opposite kind of feed, which may kind of get into rebellious thing, or maybe it shows us the good feed based upon the concept of the algorithm. And I can say is our data, which we in the positive consent, which we put on social media for promotions or maybe like kind of helping out memories. This behind that, the main intent of the data is it will capture our whole personal identity, and maybe in the dark web we can they can be exploited identities that can be happened. So based upon that, we can take certain awareness workshops over there, or maybe some technical restrictions over there. And yeah, about safety settings which we talked about, that should be very must first concern about that. And yeah, about getting like few sensitive videos, like when we explore our feed, like explore option, so we may get some feeds through sensitive videos like an hidden option. And when we click that, we have some options to bypass that, and we can see that. So that thing should be like totally removed on that, because removing these sensitive kind of videos so that one's identity should not be exploited and they should not get defaced. Based upon that, we should work on that.
Thank you so much for sharing. Transparency.
I can see what happened, we can do that, and what I consume and why we are taking that information are about that. Social media, like what, not just annual reports on social media, but also failure report. Like on social media we can do like Instagram, what we can see. One reel we can useful that information we can do. Otherwise we can scroll it. That type of feeds. Instead of full random should be and people we know. Interconnectivity, like Snapchat, and should be able to message WhatsApp user and so on. Snapchat also we can use only fun, best for funny, like what we can say, and we can choose the friends like that, and we can do chart that.
A conversation discussed, it came out that different platforms are used for different things. So, for example, we use Snapchat for more direct messaging our friends. So, if you're showing us feed on Snapchat as well, then show us content that our friends have liked or preference, right? So, don't show us random content. That's something we discussed. I think on the interoperability bit, we were discussing about if she's on Snapchat, I'm on WhatsApp, we should be able to text each other. That's what happened on SMS also. Irrespective of what the network we're on, we're able to text each other. So, maybe laws can play a role there. I also want to share that in Europe, for example, right now, WhatsApp is being forced to ensure that you can text other platforms through WhatsApp. That's because of the laws in Europe. So, something for us to think about. I think we also discussed algorithmic feed transparency. Why do we see what we see? Especially on platforms like Instagram, we discussed that we're scrolling without seeing, we're not engaging with the content, so it's ruining our experience as well. So more explanation about what we're seeing may be helpful. I think I just wanted to summarize that.
Hello everyone. The topic is regarding the data ownership. We know that when we keep data in the social media, that for every data there will be an owner, and when some X person is using the data, the owner should get the information or any notification that this person wants to use your data with regarding his permission only. The information should go to the another person, and moreover, and when we keep the data before nearly 2 to 3 years ago, we should get the reminder for every 1 year that your data is in the internet. And because some people will get forgotten when the data is kept in the internet, because when the technology changes, the data can be more sensitive. And in the olden days, we can't, if we have our personal ID or personal number in the Google also, we don't have any problem regarding that. But right nowadays, if we have any one picture or an image of us in the social media, it can be accessed to our precise location when we are presenting it. And when some person is using any crackers, or then some person is doing any harmful things, that we will get an information that we will get notification that use this like this way, and there will be some precautions also. And when we are downloading an anonymous app also, we should get the information that how to use the app. And moreover, some apps are producing it, but most of the apps we are not getting how to use that app, and it's mandatory to educate the persons who are using that app. And when we have access in Instagram, that sometimes that information will be shared in Google and some of the other platforms also, and it should be reduced, because when the data is comfortable to share with the Instagram only, but the information is accessed with the Google also, and it should be reduced because the information is in Instagram. That's all.
What the philosophy of technology or philosophy of social media really is. Namely, mentioning some philosophers, I'll keep it short. Some of them are Michel Foucault, what Deleuze argued, Noam Chomsky, Orwell, and to like really understand how this will all play out, Marshall McLuhan and what Manuel Castells argued in his Network Society is really important. Like the user should be taught on what social media really is and its philosophy. I think it really plays out for technology. Thank you.
So in terms of repairing harms, like one thing that has been discussed is that in social media actually there's a lot of misinformation which happens. A lot of misinformation takes place, because of which there are certain there are a lot of communities get stereotyped, or because of that actually a lot of violence takes place. When incidents of lynching and all those things. At the same time, there's also a way to counter this kind of misinformation, where the alternative truths, actually the truths, it can be used as a medium for propagation of the truth also, where this misinformation can be countered to sharing actual information. For example, places like sites like alt news, those kind of things. And this can also be like, since social media also provides a platform where there's a scope for a lot of networking. There are specific networks which are working for particularly for certain specific causes. It could be related to workers, women's, Dalits, Adivasis, social movements. It can build a network of different individuals, institutions, organizations, movements, which can bring it together. So it can be a way to promote social justice issues. It can be a medium for promoting positive stories of social change. And again, it can raise a lot of issues related to people's rights like education, health, employment, a lot of human rights, issues of inclusion, those kind of dimensions will come in. Yeah, and of course, it can bring the visibility. Since we understand the actual mainstream media is not able to represent the voices of the marginalized groups, at least social media is able to provide some kind of visibility for some marginalized groups to show their perspective of the things.
So we've actually come up with real prototypes and some of the real measures we can take to create a new social media. And on this particular channel on Instagram, we'll be sort of showcasing them. We'll be mentioning the people we have worked with, and we'll be in the coming weeks and in the coming months, we'll be creating an exhibition of sorts, like a physical traveling exhibition of what a possible alternative social media could look like. So please stay in touch
Just on that, so in December we are creating this traveling exhibition. So before December, what we're doing through our Instagram is collecting all of these responses. So while you've already attended the workshop, we are also making it a pinpointed. Like for example, how can you redesign the comment section, for example. So these kind of stuff that we're trying to do on social media, it's not just like information, it is also information sharing, talking about platform accountability if you want to learn about these issues, but also about like we're making a collective blueprint as well. So we're trying to do these workshops in like small segments, but also on social media. So please do stay in touch through here, and if you want to continue this conversation, I'm actually the one who has the social media access, so I'll be able to see your DMs, anything that you want to say, comments, everything. I'll be able to see them and get back to you on them as well. So thank you so much. We're also getting time thing, but thank you so much for participating and giving us your time and coming up with these ideas. We're very, very grateful. And please stay in touch.